Game Over Vancouver is broadcasting from the Game Over Network channel for the playoffs, but starting in October, the network launches for real, which means for all of your Vancouver Canucks content, you want to go check out the Game Over Vancouver channel. You can subscribe right now by opening up the Game Over Network channel from this video in a new tab. Scroll down past my ugly mug, click on the Game Over Vancouver YouTube page, then click subscribe and click that reminder bell as well so you don't miss when we post a video or go live. Tell all your Canucks fans, friends, and family to come join our awesome community. You really won't regret it. And for this video, make sure you smash that like button right into oblivion.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game Over Vancouver. Game 3 just happened between the Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators. It was the first game of the series in Nashville, and the Vancouver Canucks are not only tonight were they up by a score of 2-1 at the end of it all, they're also now up in the series 2-1. All right, my name is Kaja Mae. Welcome to Game Over, Vancouver. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell. If you're old here, hello again. I am not calling you old. I'm just saying because you've been here before, so you know your way around. You know your way around. If you turn right, you're gonna get to the Game Over Vancouver channel that we will be using next year, which Andrew just gave a run through of. Anyway, before we get into all of the game, I just wanted to give that little rundown. And okay, it was a 2-1 game. The Canucks almost set a record for least amount of fewest shots in a playoff win. They're 2 shots off the NHL record, which is 10 shots. They had 12 compared to Nashville's 31. So they had over double the amount of shots. I'm not great at math, but almost triple the amount of shots that Nashville had, despite having double the amount of goals. Yeah, so they're 2 shots off the NHL record for fewest shots in a playoff win. The record is tied. Well, it's 10, but it's held between both the 1990 New Jersey Devils and the 1974 Chicago Blackhawks. So they could have been the first team in the 21st century to match that, but no, instead they had to get 2 more shots on net. But you know what? After whatever happened last game, I am not complaining. Let's go to the overall game breakdown, shall we? Now, before we actually start the game itself, okay, technically the game started, anthems are done, their surprise anthem singer, which is Colby Calais, I forgot who she was for a second, and I was like, oh, wait, I used to listen to her music on the radio when I was, 7. Anyway, I was, let's just say I was expecting Carrie Underwood, because, the Predators. Yeah, so before the puck even drops, Kiefer Sherwood is trying to get Dakota Joshua to go, to East. I don't know if he was cross-checking him, but he was definitely pushing him, over the center ice line right before the face-off, and he got warned by the linesman, I think. But overall, still, the puck had not even dropped yet, and then the puck drops. Nashville, I think, wins the face-off, and he just goes away. He does all that effort for absolutely nothing. Ryan O'Reilly could not hit the net tonight, and I feel like that saved a lot of chances. That saved a lot of Predators' potential goals for the Canucks and Casey DeSmith. But also the defensemen really were into blocking shots tonight. There were 30 blocked shots of the 31 shots on goal. So 30 or I guess it's probably not all shots on goal, but yeah, 30 block shots from the Canucks, and they definitely showed it. The Canucks weren't as great in the first half of the first period, I'd say. They were very hemmed into their own zone. The Predators were hounding on them. They were defending all right, because they were defending all right because Nashville didn't score until the third, but it felt sloppy, it felt rushed, it felt like they weren't fully prepared. But they pulled it off in the end. It's fine. First power play for Nashville was the Joshua boarding call, and it was on Stastny, who eventually did leave the game in the second period, but it is unclear if it was like he went back out because he played after getting hit, but then he left in the second, so not entirely sure what happened there. It was a major that brought down to a minor. I still think it's dumb that you can only review major penalties and not like a minor, like a delay of game. We'll get into that later. John Shorthouse said it's raucous but not as loud as it was in Vancouver. And if you saw videos of there's a watch party at Rogers Arena tonight, and it was very loud there. It was very loud. I saw videos on Twitter, and yes, it was quite. They were quite vivacious. I don't know if I used that word right. Yeah, Ryan O'Reilly, he missed 3 opportunities there, and then it was just a decent kill. The Canucks ended up killing 5 out of 5 power plays that Nashville was given, so I'd say that's a pretty good point, considering I have my little sign. Some people noticed it was about Quinn Hughes' last game. I changed it to match the tone of this game. Special teams, special plays, special players wouldn't fit because it's a tiny little sign. I think it's the whiteboard's from like the dollar store or something. But yeah, special teams, special plays. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, I mean, the Canucks just had an amazing performance by their special teams. I think the Canucks even used that to tweet it as well. Context, it's like it's a meme. Just search what's up, brother. That's what it starts with. Anyway, yeah, so there was a really good opportunity from Ilya Mikheyev. He was very patient on the puck, very stick-handly. That's not a word. That's not a sentence. He was stick handling a lot, but it was kind of good for patience. He gives Niels Honglander probably the best chance he's had in his entire career. Like, I know he's only been in the league for, 3 years, but one of the prime best chance. Saros is over following Mikheyev. There's an entire open net, and Hogs misses it. So that kind of stung. That made me worried, seriously worried, because the Canucks, yeah, they had not at this point had a shot on goal. They were constantly, perpetually held into their own zone. DeSmith was actually making saves, so that was nice. Myers got called for high sticking on Forsberg. Doesn't matter. They kill it off. McCarron gets a call for goaltender interference, which was the dumbest hit I've ever seen in a playoff game. Dumb, not as in egregiously damaging. Oh, Nashville got a shot on goal removed, and the Canucks had a block shot removed just now. Okay, so Nashville had 30 shots on goal. Still doesn't change anything. They only scored 1. Yeah, so McCarron gets goaltender interference on Casey DeSmith. There was no real purpose. I mean, there's kind of a purpose. You know that Vancouver does not have they don't have their starting goaltender. We don't know how long for. We don't have, our backup is, 23 for DeSmith, and he's not fully trained at the NHL level yet. And then the backup to him is currently also playing a game. So could have been a bad situation. Had he got injured, DeSmith laughs it off. But yeah, just there was no real, that's gonna be a penalty. You can't just hit the goaltender like that. It's not allowed. There's a specific penalty saying you cannot do that, and you still did it. it's just like it's like when you imagine like what the thought process is behind that, and it's just no thoughts. There are no thoughts behind that hit there. But it worked out for the Canucks because JT Miller on the first shot of the game for Vancouver with 6:37 left in the period. So nearly 75% of the first period has gone by, and that's when the Canucks get their first shot on net. This was when I was still worrying after that because first shot of the game for Vancouver. Besser blocked UC Saros, went over his shoulder, and it was the first opening goal of the series for Vancouver. Obviously, they lost last game, and then game one, they eventually had to come back to win it. But soon enough, later on, Ryan McDonough gets called for hooking on Niels Höglander. This was the one Nashville power play that the Canucks didn't score on. Yeah, it was a weird power play. They had Lindholm out replacing Garland for that one. And I just feel like it wasn't fully like they were setting up quite a bit. It was definitely a more structured movement wise, but it's just they weren't getting like the proper connections, they weren't getting the proper shots. Like Miller, he would have a strong shot, but it would also just completely like tilt itself away. Lindholm had that swing and a miss, which I need to see on Twitter with like some kind of sound effect in the coming days. Nashville missed a 3-on-1. Then the first of two delay of games for penalties for puck over glass gets called. Lots of block shots to end off the third. Oh, we're still in the first period. To end off the first period, my bad. Yeah, so there were 5 penalties called in the first period, because that's fun. Bluger for delay of game. Did anyone else notice that one shot where, Roman Josi, who has, like, injured people with his shot before, like, multiple times, Zadorov just kind of takes it and then just flicks the puck away. That was just such a boss move. Like I was stunned. I was stunned. There was just lots of block shots overall. Obviously, the Canucks ended up with now 29 because they took a shot away. Carson Soucy also had a great time with that. Second period, Cole saves a Nashville chance. There was the first of the Casey DeSmith thought he had it. Well, not exactly. The second one, he didn't think he had it. It's just that a defenseman came through and stole it off the line. This one was Tyler Myers. Tyler Myers was in net for the Canucks tonight. Casey DeSmith thought he had the puck in his pads somewhere. It slipped under his arm, I believe, and was behind him, almost going over the line, but Tyler Myers pulled it back in order to not score. On the other side of the net, on the other side of the ice, sorry, UC Saros robs Niels Höglander, absolutely, and then Ilya Mikheyev missed, and that was also the Höglander shot on Saros was the first shot, not by JT Miller for the Canucks, and it was the 4th shot of the game. So, what a night from JT Miller. Canucks were definitely pushing more in the second period. You could say they probably got a little fired up after that first goal, and also it kind of helped the third Canucks power play and the last Canucks power play for the game. Roman Josi was called for tripping on Connor Garland, tried to protest the call. It was not successful, and then Brock Besser from the crease tips it. Kind of from the crease. He tipped it between UC Saros' legs while he was being taken down by Lazan, and he kind of just laid there for a bit, and that's probably one of my favorite pictures now from this playoff series, is just Brock Besser just laying on the ground after scoring. The Canucks, yeah, definitely had a lot of opportunities, a lot of good chances. I mean, I won't say they had a lot of shots, because they didn't. Only 10 shots on goal did not account for goals. So, yeah. They did have a lot of opportunity to generate shots. They just didn't. Um, the there were a bunch of parents in the audience. I think Fangirl mentioned, yeah, Petey's parents were in the stands. So were Tyler Myers' parents, I believe. Um, there was two 4-on-4s. It was like a 4-on-4, and then because of what Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers did, there could have been a 3-on-3, but because of what they did, it was still a 4-on-4. Yeah, because Quinn Hughes gets a delayed penalty for, I think, when Evangelista was trying to he got a shot off on Casey DeSmith, and that was like the second in a very close time limit of saves that DeSmith made, and that one was off the toe of his skate, and it was really cool watching like from the net cam. But yeah, so Quinn Hughes got a penalty on that play. Evangelista tackles him behind the net afterwards, and he's like on the ground fully behind the net. So yeah, they both got penalties for that, because obviously you can't do that. And then about like a minute later, Miller and Gustav Nyquist, so JT Miller and Gustav Nyquist also get called for coincidental penalties. Nyquist and Besser were kind of going at it near the benches. Brock went down. Miller stepped in for what I wrote down as his wife, because he did call Brock his wife this season. I'm not letting him forget that. They both slashed each other. They both got called off. That was when, yeah, it was mentioned that Stastny was still missing for the Preds. They were running with 5 defensemen. And also near the end of the second period, they played Don't You Forget About Me, the current Canucks goal song. And I don't know if they were trying to do the thing that everyone thought the Canucks were doing when they played Where the Streets Have No Name, because like the U2, oh, they missed the U2 show, oh, they're trolling. No, dude, we just have history that like you don't. So no disrespect to Nashville, they have a higher percentage of making it to the playoffs than the Canucks do. But yeah, no, it's just because like literally, do you not remember when we played each other 13 years ago? I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you forgot, but anyway, besides the point. Yeah, they played Don't You Forget About Me, so I don't know if they were trying to troll the Canucks while they were down 2-0, but they didn't work, obviously, because while Nashville scored in the third period, they didn't really do much else. Yeah, so they played Don't You Forget About Me. I saw Nashville fans getting annoyed about it. I mean, I would also be annoyed if they started playing the opposing team's goal song while the home team is losing. I just thought it was an odd choice. Maybe they didn't know, but also, how do you not know? It's been the goal song for like 3 years. Third period, Casey DeSmith was really good at the start of this period, but also a rebound that bounced the wrong way because DeSmith was catching rebounds tonight. Ian Cole was the second defenseman of the night to take the puck off the line. The Blue Jays got okay, I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, Ian Cole took the puck off the line. Also, another interesting thing that happened at the beginning of the third period, McCarron tried to do the flinch fake out on Nikita Zadorov. Like he tried to like go what? Like that thing. You like when I don't know, your siblings bugging you, you want them out of your face, and you're just like, yeah, I'm tough. Yeah, he tried to do that to Nikita Zadorov. It didn't work. He just kind of stood there, like he does, because actually, probably Nikita Zadorov standing like is just this. Hello. That's what. Oh. I don't know if I broke my chair just then, but it was for the bit, so I appreciate it. I appreciate myself, yes. And then Nashville they'd be a little erratic, trying to generate some chances. Besser gets called for tripping. The Predators had the second best power play in the league from February 1st to the end of the regular season. And yeah, they did not score on any of the 5 power plays they had tonight, including this 5-on-3, because Zadorov got called for the second delay of game puck over glass for the Canucks. That penalty just makes no sense to me. But yeah, with 3 minutes left in the game, Evangelista, the man of the hour, he scores the first even strength goal of the game with 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left in the game is the first even strength goal. Hronek got a little too tangled up with one of the Predators. All the Canucks were kind of just in a mess. And yeah. 2-1. Ruined the shutout. The last shutout the Canucks had was Demko forcing Game 7 against Vegas in the bubble, so could have been a nice homage to the guy who, I don't know, he might be retired. Depends on what Twitter's saying. Yeah, Tyler Myers basically was... Do you remember that video of Marc-Andre Fleury trying to build up snow shavings in his crease? And, like, he got called out for it and the refs had to clear it, but he was trying to build that wall in the crease. Like, if you needed a wall in the crease, Tyler Myers is that man. He is the wall. Teddy Bluger also giving it his all for the last few minutes. And yeah, the Canucks take Game 3. Game 5 was going to happen eventually. I'm not going to say they force Game 5, but it is a series. Nashville made it a series by winning the last game. It's not like, whatever's going on in the East right now, because that's a mess. Yeah, the Canucks game started half an hour after the Rangers game started. That game ended 3-1. The Rangers are up 3-0. Who's surprised? Nobody. That's what happens when you have a team with a minus 37 goal differential. Make the postseason. Wildcards are funny, though. Anyway, yeah. Vancouver leads 2-1 in the series. They led 2-1 in this game. And before I get into a conversation about where in the world is Thatcher Demko? Well, Nashville, but what's his status if the Canucks were to supposedly take the series? We'll get to that in a second.
Game Over Ottawa is relaunching in October. So for all of your Ottawa Senators action, reaction, news, analysis, and fun, make sure that you click on the Game Over Network channel right now, open a new tab in this video, scroll past my ugly mug, and click on the Game Over Ottawa channel. Subscribe, and then hit that drop-down menu. Make sure you hit the alarm bell so that you get notified whenever we post a video or go live. Tell all your Sens fans, friends, and family to check out our awesome community, and make sure you smash the like button on this video right into oblivion.
Hello again, it's me. Let's talk about the goaltending question, because that's always a fun conversation. Alright, so yesterday, at around 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I believe Sarah Sivian tweeted out that Demko was likely done for the playoffs. That she was hearing that Demko was likely done for the playoffs. Now, this has been a conversation ongoing basically since they announced he was out of Game 2. And he was day to day, then week to week. Then, is he out for the rest of the playoffs? They're saying round 2. They're saying conference finals. We don't really have a concrete thing. But yeah, that was tweeted last night. Kind of threw everyone into a frenzy. I was working at a junior game, and I had to relay the message throughout the media team. So that was fun. But yeah, so tonight, Elliot Friedman said that Demko's injury situation is unique. Now, it is very unlikely, in the occasion, especially in the playoffs, of the teams releasing any information regarding the injuries of their players, depending, because it's kind of mind game thing. They want to see if they don't want to tip anything off to their opposition, to any other teams, but they also don't want to seem weaker. It's odd. So I feel like there could be being a bit secretive about his status just to keep Nashville on their toes. At the same time, it's a little questionable. Yeah, like one classic example I could think of is no one knowing that Leon Draisaitl had like a fractured ankle or something like that. Like when he seriously messed up his ankle, and everyone knew he was injured on one of his like ankles. No one knew which one it was. There was a story of Calgary, like the Flames in the Battle of Alberta a couple years back, like hitting him on the wrong ankle. So it's very unlikely that teams are going to give out injury information in the playoffs. That's just a thing. Like William Nylander, for example, that's only really come out personally, I believe, because he's talked about dealing with migraines and stuff like that before. And as somebody who's had migraines, they are they are awful, and being in an arena is possibly the worst experience that you could ever have. Like just standing in an arena, the worst possible experience. So glad he's feeling better for the Leaf side of things, but yeah, it's and also for his personal health, obviously. But wow, good on him. Anyway, the Demko injury, as Elliot Friedman said on TV, it was unique. He reported in 32 Thoughts they weren't exactly giving a timeline. Rick Dollywall says week to week still. Talkit says week to week still. And other people say out for the playoffs. Honestly, week to week could be out of the playoffs because, like, who knows if next week the Canucks are still going to be in the playoffs. I hope so because, I'd like to see that happen. At the same time, when you have a strict timeline for a set amount of games that you have to play, but you don't have a strict timeline for an injury, and yes, there's probably a very strict timeline internally that, the Vancouver Canucks aren't just going to publish at the front page of the province because I'm pretty sure that, like, anyone could get their hands on it. Like, Nashville could just Google it, Edmonton can just take a plane, like, they can find out. They can find out. It was also noted surgery is unlikely. It's more rest and rehabilitation. So I feel that makes it a bit more tricky, but I feel like that's on the better side because, like, with surgery, there's recovery times and all that kind of not entirely fun stuff. Yeah, so week to week, that's what Talkit says. Again, apparently Brock Besser injured his hand the other day in practice, but he told Talkit he was okay, so it's fine. He scored tonight, so maybe he is fine, but still. Yeah, and Demko basically took the trip. People were saying, well, they weren't saying, but I wrote down for the vibes, because he wanted to kind of, like, motivate Casey DeSmith in a way, because we saw that post-game hug. We saw Demko finally give another goalie a hug. If any of you remember the All-Star Game controversy, because that was the most important thing in hockey. Especially that week. Yeah, so I think that he was there more for the vibes and, team morale, kind of like how Gabriel Landeskog just is, like, always around the Avalanche now. Like, he's just there. But is he going to play again? We don't know. Nicholas Backstrom showing up at, like, all the Capitals 1,000 game celebrations. Is he going to play again? We don't know. That kind of stuff. I'm not saying that Demko is nearing retirement because, again, he's, like, a decade younger than both those guys. But also, and it's a very different situation than that. But yeah, it's kind of like that morale booster, What else? Yeah, I accept we always have skepticism about Demko. Look at DeSmith. He proves he can do it. Let's not worry so much about the goaltending situation. I worried a bit after last game because, it was also just a fluky game to begin with overall. I wasn't recapping. Peter was filling in for the Vancouver Crew, but yeah, it wasn't a great look. .800 goalies are struggling this postseason, like across the board. You can rarely find a save percentage over 900 for the NHL playoffs. I feel like the precedent that the Avs and Jets set is not fair, but you know what? Let's just keep rolling with it. Yeah, Casey Smith had a .800 last game, so I was a bit worried. He led in 3 goals and 11 shots at one point, so not entirely great, but he definitely showed that he has a better view in the in this game, in game 3, because I also believe that he said that he enjoyed being in the net on road games because it was like they're the underdog, you know? And he's historically had a good performance against the Predators. And yeah, he definitely showed that performance tonight. Obviously, there were a couple touch and go moments where defensemen like Tyler Myers taking that puck off the line. That was a beautiful move by Tyler Myers. Give him all the money, please. Yeah, he certainly did. However, the third one was on PD for a dangerous puck turnover. Yeah, well, I mean, we're not perfect. But hey, some of us get paid like 8 million. How much is his new contract? I forgot. Anyway, too many numbers. I do think that it's an alright choice. What example I could think of, it's not like similar injuries, but Colorado, for example, a couple years ago, you know, they ended up winning the cup. I'm not saying that I think the Canucks are going to win the cup. I honestly don't think they have the depth for that, to be completely honest, not to ruin everyone's hopes, but just looking around the rest of the league, like there's so much talent across the board. It's really just open this year, which is very entertaining to say, actually, because, well, I mean, to be fair, last year everyone thought Boston was going to win it, and then we all know how that ended. Haha. Anyway, when it comes to the Canucks, I do think they're a pretty good team. They're one of the better teams this season, but they also don't have the playoff pedigree that some of the other teams have. Especially if they were to pass Nashville, because Nashville has made the playoffs more times in recent years. Edmonton, obviously. Vegas, obviously. LA. Probably. LA, obviously. Kind of. Basically, everyone in the West has had a lot of recent success. Not successes, but has had successes in the playoffs in the years that the Canucks were basically absent from them. So, feel like that's going to be a tricky situation heading into the next few games. But overall, I think Casey DeSmith did have a good shot. Where was I going with this? Colorado. Yeah, Colorado won because after Kemper went out, and they basically won with, it was Pavel Francouz, wasn't it, right? Yeah, because he just retired. Yeah, but they basically won with their second and third stringer. So, you know, it could happen. Hypothetically, it could happen. Is it going to happen? Very much likely not to go all the way to win the cup. Has Jim Rutherford won the cup with his backup goaltender? Yes. Was that team also the 2006 Carolina Hurricanes? I think. I may have been a little too confident in that answer. I'm pretty sure that was the Hurricanes run. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was 3 when that happened. Anyway, yeah, I think Casey DeSmith, he's probably... I was questionable to start him in game 3, but, you know, he performs well on the road. Maybe if he doesn't perform as well, I think if they win the next game, maybe give DeSmith a break and play Sea Loves. That's what I was gonna say. She Loves, sorry. Yeah, if he plays really well, the Canucks are buzzing heading back into Vancouver. They play next, I could speak, on Sunday, April 28th. April 30th will be game 5 at Rogers Arena. So, yeah, who knows who's going to start. I mean, for all we know, they could take another cap penalty and pull Roberto Luongo off the Ring of Honor. We don't know. We don't know. All right, we're going to talk penalties, discipline, and puck over glass delays after this little break from my friends.
Game Over Calgary is relaunching in October. For all your Game Over Calgary content, make sure you subscribe to our Calgary-specific YouTube channel. Open the Game Over Network YouTube page in a new tab from this video, scroll past Andrew talking, and click on the Game Over Calgary channel in our featured channel section. Click subscribe and make sure you hit the drop-down menu to get notified when we post videos or go live. Tell all your Flames fan friends and family to check it out and join our awesome community. And make sure you smash the like button on this video right into oblivion.
I'm back, but my mic was not. Anyway, hello, let's talk about delay of games. Shall we? I have a I don't know if this isn't niche at all. It's not a hot take. I don't think the delay of game penalty should exist. I mean, I understand that it's probably necessary in certain situations. Kind of like how offside reviews were necessary after certain situations, aka Matt Duchene existing. But when it comes to the delay of game puck over glass, if it's not intentional, I don't understand why it is a penalty. I mean, maybe I'm just saying this because the Canucks had two of them, including one when they were already shorthanded, and now I'm gonna be a little bit, not snooty. That's not the right, that's the dog from, no it's not. Snoopy is the dog. We're getting off topic. If you can't tell, I might have ADHD. When it comes to the delay of game, puck over glass, if players try to fake that it was intentional, that it wasn't intentional, it's not like hockey players are going to be very good actors. I say this as a former theater kid, not a great actor, but I was pretty okay. And yeah, they would not be able to convince a ref. I mean, maybe they could, under the table, but that's not no, I'm not, I mean, like, bribery, that's what I meant there. Don't misconstrue my words, but I mean, that also sounds, you know what? What are they gonna do? I'm not a coach. They can't find me $25K for, questioning if they're decent at their job. But, retail workers get black every day for, existing. I have a lot of opinions on NHL referees if it isn't apparent already. But if it's not intentional, I don't see how it's a penalty. Like, I understand you put the puck over the glass, and technically it delays the game, but it delays the game for all of 5 seconds while you skate to the penalty box and get a new puck. Like, it's not that long. That's not a very long penalty. If you're deliberately shooting it up in the air and, like, trying to get it out, like the Zadorov one, I understand the team's shorthanded. You want to get the puck out of the zone. At the same time, like, the puck wasn't completely flat on the ice. It was rolling. It was bouncing. The ice was weird tonight. Don't know if that's just how Nashville is. But yeah, the puck wasn't completely flat on the ice. He tries to shoot it, and it just happens to go over the glass instead of hitting the glass first. Which, I don't know. Like, it's weird that if it just grazes the top of, like, the bit of the glass, then it's completely, and goes out of play, it's completely fine. But if it goes straight off, that's a penalty. I understand why they kind of have that in place. Well, but they have, like, other protections in place for the crowd, too. It's not like they're maliciously shooting pucks into... It's not like Nikita Zadorov was trying to do that. It's not like... Who was the other one? It was Teddy Bluger, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Bluger. It's not like he's doing that intentionally. He's just, doing his job of getting the puck away from the net that the opposing team is trying to score on. I mean, there's more of Zadorov's job than Blueger's job, but yeah, defense is defense, man. Yeah, it's not a good penalty. Like, imagine a Stanley Cup being awarded. Imagine a Stanley Cup winning goal. Like, it's game 7, the score is 1-1. You take a penalty for delay of game, puck over freaking glass. Like, you take a delay of game penalty for that. The other team gets a power play and they score, they win the Stanley Cup. Could you imagine the outrage? Like, that would be canceled immediately unless it was a Canadian team that lost. But yeah, I've never understood why it's hitting the puck over the glass a penalty. Like, I understand it to a certain point, like delaying the game. You don't want them time wasting, like taking extra time of the referees. Like, when you get a failed goal challenge, you get a delay of game penalty because, you know, they had to stop the game, they had to recheck and rewatch, all this kind of stuff. If the goal stands or the goals continue to be disallowed, means usually the goal stands, then yeah, you get your penalty. That makes sense to me because you're actively stopping the entire play. If a puck goes over glass, all you have to do is skate like 20 feet to the box, get a new puck, which I'm sure they have plenty of, and go back to the ice. And like, NHL rinks are they're, I don't want to say they're small, but they're smaller than like international ones. And like, I've been at international ones. They just go and get a new puck. It doesn't make sense as a penalty. It doesn't make sense. The Canucks overall, yes, need to have more discipline if they want to get anywhere in these playoffs, because yeah, they gave Nashville 5 power plays tonight, and yes, they did kill them all off, but overall, that's not really sustainable. I can talk. Yeah, I don't understand how puck over glass. The worst case scenario is delay of game, cup final, game 7, it ends 2-1 because somebody scored on a delay of game call for puck over glass. Just does not make sense to me. Alright, one more little message, and then I will wrap up here with some last questions.
Game Over Vancouver is broadcasting from the Game Over Network channel for the playoffs, but starting in October, the network launches for real, which means for all of your Vancouver Canucks content, you want to go check out the Game Over Vancouver channel. You can subscribe right now by opening up the Game Over Network channel from this video in a new tab. Scroll down past my ugly mug, click on the Game Over Vancouver YouTube page, then click subscribe and click that reminder bell as well so you don't miss when we post a video or go live. Tell all your Canucks fans, friends, and family to come join our awesome community. You really won't regret it. And for this video, make sure you smash that like button right into oblivion.
Alrighty, so that wouldn't be sustainable against the New York Rangers, period. Like, discipline? Yeah, it would not, because the New York Rangers have an insane power play. And by insane power play, I mean they have Chris Kreider. He is scored so many. He's like Mr. Power Play. Every time he scores, they just tweet Mr. Power Play. It's like that thing that the Leafs did whenever Matthews would score his goals, like as he got closer and closer to 70, which he never ended up reaching, but I thought it was still pretty nice that he got really close. Yeah, they just say Mr. Power Play, or like, it's a power play goal, of course, like something along those lines, and I'm like, okay, it's Chris Kreider. Picks so far are Rangers and Stars to make the final. Do you see this as most accurate pairing? I do definitely see the Rangers being a strong contender in there. I definitely think they are the strongest in the East. One of the strongest in the East. Yeah, they're the strongest in the East. Let's be real here. They're the strongest. I mean, I also say that as a Rangers enjoyer, so like, take it with a grain of salt. I do think the Rangers are really strong this year. I don't know if the Stars will be able to make it past Vegas. Because, yes, Vegas has had their struggles this year, but they're also missing like half their roster that just suddenly got resurrected last week. So, who knows? But you know what? Game's a game. Casey DeSmith is God. There is no escape from the Jim Rutherford tradition of having backups becoming prime Hashik all of a sudden. You know what? That's great. I mean, it wasn't all of a sudden. Game 2 happened, but I'll take it. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Okay. Thoughts on the tripping call on Besser? Real from fictitious replay show the Preds player went down so easily. I mean, to be fair, ice is slippery. Yeah. Like, I understand they probably embellish quite a bit. Has there been more egregious embellishments this playoffs? Yes. Do I think that DeSmith may have embellished a little bit when he got checked earlier in the game? A tiny bit, but also it's just hard to move in general in goalie gear. But yeah, I mean, you go down easily. I understand you're paid to skate around in circles on the ice, but also, like, it is ice at the end of the day. That's just my opinion, though. Superstition when it comes to NHL games. If they lose wearing it while I'm wearing an item of clothing, I will not wear that item of clothing for the next game. I don't exactly have any other I set my volumes on, like, my radio and stuff to, like, different numbers, but I don't know if that counts. Like, specific numbers related to the team. Kind of. Vegas Miracle Cure works again. The Canucks need to resign Zadorov. I could see it happening. I just worry about what the cap hit would be. Obviously, I worry about the cap constantly. But I just don't know if they'd be able to swing it. Especially, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think they should re-sign Hronek whatsoever. I think they should cast him to the depths of wherever we'll take him, because, yes, I understand he's an RFA, and yeah, they were like, oh, he's gonna be good for Hughes. He's given up more goals than he's caused, so, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that he would be. I would rather take Nikita Zadorov and Tyler Myers for twice the contract that we'd have to pay Phil Hronek for. In all seriousness, in my opinion, Vancouver started off very sluggish in the first. That was true. That McCarron hit onto Smith sparked something in them. They got those goals and played defense the rest of the way. Pretty much, yes. They got their insurance and they got out. I mean, it was the first time that the Canucks had started the scoring in a game. So good for them. But yeah, that kind of lit a fire under them. I don't know if it was the early start. It was 4:30 on a Friday. It's pretty early. It's pretty early. I was shocked because I was like, it's a Western team. Oh, Nashville's in Tennessee. That's far. Yeah, they didn't start the first off well. They didn't wake up until halfway through the first. So, one thing Tocchet seems to not do often is call timeout. I don't think he even did it after they went down 3-0. Does he not know he can call it if he wants? I think he probably just doesn't want to. I think he's like, oh, they can figure it out themselves. I can't even think, like, I can't even think of a time he's called timeout. But also, I feel like when they have called, or they've had, like, the timeouts, it's usually one of the assistant coaches running the conversation. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it wasn't necessary in this game because they were winning. At the same time, you know what? He probably knows better than I do for when to call timeouts. I'm worried about the shot on goal. You can't count on Nashville going 0-5 on the power play, and you can't rely on Ryan O'Reilly becoming Elias Pettersson in game 2. I literally wrote that in my notes. It's like, where is it? Where did I put it? Ryan O'Reilly has missed 3 opportunities. They took Petey's suffering away and gave it to him. Like, that was not a stellar performance from the 2019 Conn Smythe winner. You can't count on Nashville going 0-5 on the power play. Yeah, they had, the second highest power play in the league after February 1st, which is when the Canucks also coincidentally started taking a downward turn. You can't count on it. Shots on goal, they definitely did generate more. I think because they just got so kind of hemmed in their zone, and they are attempting the shots, they're just not ending up on goal. They're not ending up on target. Yeah, I worry about the shots a bit, but you know what? Hopefully they can figure it out. I'm being very hopeful there, but I think, yeah, the shots, that's a worrying, that's a worry. Nashville's power play, that should be a worry for them, to be honest. Like, how do you have the second highest for like nearly 3 months and then go 0-5 against the Vancouver Canucks? Nothing against, kind of something against the Vancouver Canucks, but also like, you had a 5-on-3, and I know it was only for 20 seconds, but you still had a 5-on-3 in a playoff game, and you did nothing with it. Brother. If you told me a year ago we'd be talking about extending Myers, I know. Like, I could not talk to me like from 6 months ago, and I could not believe it. But just the way he's performed in the latter half of the season, and then also like in the postseason already too. Like, I know he's taken penalties and stuff like that. Yeah. He's been pretty good. I think Lindholm will want more than Hronek, in my opinion. I'd rather pay. Yeah, I don't think they should be re-signing Lindholm either. I don't think that that's going to be a good investment for them. I hope that they just see him as a rental. I understand they gave up a lot to get him, but I also feel like that was just because it was interconference. The Flames were out of it far enough already, but also, yeah, I feel like Lindholm was a rental overall. Yeah, I think he's gonna go to free agency on July 1st. I hope Hronek, I don't know if they'd trade him before they can qualify him. Analytically, the Canucks do technically have a top 10 shots, goals allowed. So it's not like the penalty is bad anymore, but like, yeah, wow, Nashville, it was something. I think that's all we have for tonight. Really enjoyed spending the recap of Game 3 with you guys. Hopefully we'll see you again on Sunday. Canucks will allow 5 power play goals because I ended up chasing everything. Nah, because Tyler Myers is just gonna lay down in the crease. Hronek's QO is like, oh no, it's not 4 mil. It's like 5 something. Calgary has a resurgence. We gifted that better chances of picks than 2 times or our own prospects, and that's business with the rival. I mean, I mean, whatever. Their arena's falling apart, so maybe we should just give them Pacific Coliseum. Alright, good night, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I have been Kaja Mae. Subscribe down below to the Game Over Network. You can find me at Real Kaja Mae on Twitter, Kaja Mae on everything else, basically. I hope you enjoyed this, and let's see a Besser Hattie in Game 4. Alright, good night.
Yeah!